On February 21, 2022, a full-scale war began right in the center of Europe. Missiles launched from the territory of Russia and Belarus began to destroy civilian and military infrastructure. Russian troops invaded Ukraine. However, thanks to the determined resistance of the Ukrainian army and their territorial defense forces in the early days of the aggression, the occupying army suffered a significant loss in personnel and machinery and continues to lose more. And the board game Armed Forces of Ukraine, in which you will have to confront the invaders, will help bring Ukraine's victory in this war closer, even if only on your tables. The FU card game is designed for 1 to 2 players, and each player must build their own FU army from various units in order to defeat the enemy. Players will play cards from their hands during the invasion phase and later after the full-scale war phase, attempting to correctly distribute their forces to destroy the enemies, developing strategies for mobilizing new units and replenishing the deck, and unblocking important objects, all while avoiding panic and trying to get achievements to prove your skill in this game. When playing for 2, choose the first player by who is better in shooting. This player selects a color, blue or yellow, and flips the first player's card of that color face up. Following that, each player receives 10 starting cards of the corresponding color with no price indicated in the upper left corner. These cards must be shuffled to create a personal deck for the player. Shuffle the achievement cards and place 4 cards at random in the center of the table. These achievements are available to both players and can award victory points at the game's conclusion. Deal 2 achievement cards to each player. Each player can only keep 1 such card. Prepare a personal invader deck of 12 cards with selected color flag for each player. The players shuffle these cards and place them face down in front of them. Shuffle all the FU cards and lay out 5 cards off in the center of the table face up. Next to them place the FU deck and international 8 cards. This is a recruitment display. Place the panic deck nearby. This completes the setup and you can move on to the game itself. The game consists of 2 phases, invasion and full-scale war. During the invasion phase, each player takes turns, beginning with the first player, and each turn consists of 3 steps: preparation, combat and recruitment. Except for recruitment, where the turn order matters, players can play their turns concurrently. Draw cards from your deck until you have 5 cards in your hand. If you need to draw a card and your deck is empty, shuffle your discard pile and form a new deck. Place 3 cards from your invader deck face up in front of you. This is your attack roll. The player must then decide how to use the cards in their hand. Choose which of your cards you play to use for combat and put them in your defense and support rows to defeat the Russian invaders, and which cards you want to use to recruit new units. It is best to first become familiar with the structure of the FU cards before making such a decision. The cards display attack and defense points, support points, troop types, and a special ability symbol. Also, there are recruitment points, which are used for getting new cards and a possible bonus, and a badge symbol. So, if you decide to put a card into combat, you can put it in the defense row, which is the first row near the invader cards. Here you can place 1 card in front of each invader card, but these cards must have attack or defense points. You can also place a card in the support row, but only cards with the support points on them. After you've laid out all of your cards, the battle begins, with both the attacker and the defender attacking at the same time. If you place the card on the support row, then add the support points from the card to the attack points and to the defense points of the card that it supports. Also check if the attack or defense on the support card are enhanced and if there are any special attack marks. Compare the attack value of your card with the defense value of the invader card. After resolving the enemy's attack, put the destroyed card into your trophies pile face up. If your attack value is less than the invader's defense value, then the enemy managed to avoid fair punishment. After resolving the enemy's attack, put this card into your invader discard pile. Compare the invader's attack value with the defense value of your card. If the attack value of the enemy's card is equal or greater than the defense value of your card, put your card into the hospital face up. If the attack value of the enemy's card is less than the defense value of your card, put your card in your discard pile face up. So now we know how each of the 3 possible combat outcomes is solved. If you can't, or choose not to put your card in front of the enemy's card, take a panic card and put it in your discard pile. After that, put the enemy card into your invader discard pile. And now let's take a closer look at the possible special symbol that can be found on cards. Enhanced Defense. This card cannot be destroyed by a card with normal attack. And the Enhanced Attack allows you to destroy the card with Enhanced Defense placed opposite. Support. This card has 0 attack points, so it cannot be placed in the attack or defense rows. However, you can put it in the support row to make another card's attack stronger. Enemy Artillery. At the end of the round, put any card that is in front of it in the support row in the hospital, regardless of battle results. Rocket Strike. If you do not manage to destroy this card by the end of the round, then this card destroys all the cards of the recruitment display. Discard these cards and replace them with 5 new cards from the deck. Air Unit. This card cannot be destroyed by ground troops, artillery, infantry, tank troops, but it is still able to attack them. Anti-Aircraft Warfare. This card allows you to destroy air units. Infantry, artillery, tank troops. They do not have any additional effect, but they help you to get certain achievements at the end of the game and get victory points. After the card entered combat, you can immediately use its bonus. The bonus symbol consists of 1 or 2 parts. If it has 2 parts, it's a condition and a reward. In order to get this bonus, among the cards you play this turn or the ones in your hand, there must be at least one other card that shows the corresponding badge in the upper right corner of the card. Also, conditions can be: during this turn you played at least 1 card with normal defense, you got a panic card this round, etc. If you fulfill the condition, or if there is no condition on the bonus at all, you immediately receive the specified reward. This can be add the specified number of points of this card's attack or defense, draw 1 additional card from your deck, or if you have to get the panic card this round, you may not to take it. You can familiarize yourself with all conditions and types of awards in the rules booklet. If you didn't send a card into combat, you can use the recruitment points indicated in the lower right part of the card. To do this, select cards from your hand, put them on the table, receive the indicated recruitment points plus possible bonus points and put these cards into your discard pile. You can spend recruitment points to buy cards from the recruitment display. Starting with the first player and taking turns, players buy new cards for themselves. Each card has its price in the corner. The player pays it by subtracting it from the mobilization points and puts this card to his discard. A new card is immediately placed in its place, and the turn passes to another player. You can buy 5 open cards from the display and an international aid card, but not the top card of the deck. If the player cannot or does not want to buy a card, the remaining mobilization points are burnt. If during their recruitment there is such a mark on the card you have chosen, you can also discard a panic card from your hand or from your discard pile to the panic deck. However, if you don't have panic cards in your hand or discard pile, you can discard a card from your deck. Then shuffle it. If at the end of the turn a player has cards left in his hand, he must discard them. This ends the round. Turn over the first player's card. Now the other player will go first and start a new round. If the invader's deck ended during any point in the round, play the current round to the end and start preparing for the full-scale war phase. Equally divide all invader cards that didn't participate in the invasion. Give cards with a number 1 in the lower right corner to the first player and cards with a number 2 to the other one. Give your invader discard pile to your opponent. After that, each player shuffles their invader cards to a new personal invader deck for a second phase of the game. Each player reshuffles their cards from the discard pile and from the deck, but not from the hospital, and forms their personal deck. Take the event deck. Add 4 promo cards to it and objective cards. 3 bridges, 3 objectives that worth 3 victory points, and 1 card that worth 4 points. Shuffle the formed deck and put the Chrysler Moskva card under it. In the full-scale war phase, the game is played accordingly to the normal rules, with the following changes. At the beginning of the turn, the first player reveals the top card of event pile, and each player individually fulfills the conditions indicated on it. For example, discard any one card from the hand and draw a new one from the deck, draw 1 panic card, move any card from the hospital. You can get familiar with all the effects in the rules booklet. If there is a change in symbol on the top left corner of the event card, immediately reveal the next card from the event pile. If it is an objective, put it face up in the center of the table. If there is already an objective in the center of the table, place the next objective on the top of it, so that they form an objective pile. You can now send units to complete an objective during the combat phase of the round and receive bonuses. All objectives define a threshold in attack or defense points that you have to reach to take them. Players choose cards in their hand that they want to use for unblocking and take turns placing bets, naming the amount of points of the corresponding parameter on the cards that they plan to use. The bidding continues until one player passes. Then the other's bid has won, or all players can pass without even starting the bidding. The player who won puts used cards near the objective, and if the number of points is equal to or more than the number indicated on the objective card, winner takes this card for themselves, placing it among the trophies. If the amount is not enough but the bet was still made, no one gets objective card. But if the player or players did not bid at all, they receive a panic card to a discard pile. At the end of the turn, cards from the bids for the objective must also be put into discard. By the way, when playing a card for unblocking, you can also receive the bonuses indicated on it if the bonus condition is met. When placing invader cards, a card without attack and defense points may appear, then it must be put in the enemy's support line on the first available place. It works the same way as your support card. In addition, if the player deck is exhausted, players have to shuffle invader discard pile and form a new deck. The game continues until the end of the round, when there are no cards left in the panic pile, or until an event card, Chrysler Moskva, is revealed. Then finish the current round, combine your discard pile with your deck, and proceed to count victory points. Check the conditions for each of the 4 achievements open on the table. The player who has fully fulfilled the conditions for the achievement takes it and receives the victory points indicated on the card. However, if both players has fulfilled the conditions for the achievement, no one takes the achievement card. Next, reveal the secret achievement cards and get victory points for it if the conditions are met. After that, add the victory points indicated on the objective cards and subtract 1 point for each panic card in the deck. The player with the most points wins. In a case of tie, the player with the fewest panic cards wins. If that didn't help to determine the winner, donate to the army and play the game again. As it was said before, the F game can be played both together and solo, so now we will talk about differences in rules. Preparation for a solo game is as usual. You will not need a first player card. There is no secret achievement in a solo game. You simply put 4 achievement cards face up on the table. Also, there should be 8 cards in the panic pile, not 16. The invasion phase is the same. However, at the beginning of the full-scale war phase, you must first choose a difficulty level. For an easier game, add invader cards that didn't participate in the invasion to the invader deck. Shuffle them and form a new deck of invaders. For a more difficult game, return the invader discard pile to the box, then take invader cards that didn't participate in the invasion, shuffle them and form a new deck of invaders. For an incredibly challenging game, prepare the invader deck as indicated in the previous mode, but remove all promo cards from the event deck. When the enemy deck ends for the first time, add invader cards that didn't participate in the invasion, shuffle them and form a new deck of the invaders. If the invader deck ends a second time, reshuffle the discard pile and create a new deck of invaders. When completing an objective, you will not be opposed by another player, but by the invaders. They make their bidding offer first. To do this, open the top card from the invader deck and place it opposite the open objective. Next, as usual, you choose any number of cards you want to offer for objective. You compare the corresponding attack or defense value of your proposed cards against the objective card as well as the invader card. If you didn't offer any cards, take a panic card. If you offered at least one card, but that neither you nor the invaders have offered enough points to take the objective, then it remains on the top of the pile, and you do not take a panic card. However, if the value on the invaders card is higher than or equal to the required value on the objective card and exceeds yours, place the objective next to the enemy deck. If the value on the invader card is higher than or equal to the required value on the objective card and is equal to yours, the objective remains on the top of the pile. And finally, if the value of your card is higher than or equal to the value on the objective card and higher than the value of the invader card, then you take the objective, place it in your trophy pile. At the end of the turn, put your cards used for the objective in your discard pile and the invader card into the invader discard pile. The solo game ends if, at the beginning of your turn, you have 3 or more panic cards in your hand. At the end of the round, there are no cards left in the panic deck. The enemy captured 3 objectives. In any of these cases, you are defeated. But if in the current round the event card Chrysler Moskva has been revealed, this is your last round. Play it and proceed to the final scoring, which is as usual. Then you need to determine your rank according to the number of points. These are the rules of the board game Armed Forces of Ukraine. But if you have any questions after watching, please leave them in the comments section. That's it, take care and have a good day.